Hey there, it's Tuesday, July 30th, 2019, and I have a valuable lesson to share with you guys. I am going to be raw, honest, and vulnerable with you right now as I had an event happen last Friday that was shocking and a huge learning experience for me, and I think that would be valuable for you guys to know about. Yes, I'm a keto coach. Yes, I'm a personal trainer. Yes, I have a lot of knowledge in mind, body, spirit principles and practices, but let's face it, I'm not perfect. And I'm sorry for any of you out there that have me on a pedestal, but I'm going to take myself off that right now and just really be truthful with you, be open, and really be courageous enough to share my story and the fact that it's about progress and not perfection. So, everybody pretty much knows that I've lost over 100 pounds. Yay, woohoo, go me. But really, it seems like that was the easy part, if you will, just losing the 100 pounds, because I knew eventually, right, what to do and how to do it, and I had figured things out. And then I got to goal and I thought, okay, it's time for maintenance. Now, what does that mean? Do I not have any goals? And do I not have any guardrails? And do I not have any guidelines? Do I even have to track what I eat anymore? Do I have to work out every day? Like, it was such limbo. It was so difficult for me to wrap my head around. I was really struggling with that. In the end, though, it comes down to, I think that to be in maintenance and to figure out how to apply this every day with, slowing down the rate of fat loss and increasing lean mass really is my goal right now. And it's been tough in mind, body, and spirit. It's something I'm not used to. I would have never guessed that I would be in this kind of shape after being so heavy for so long. So this is a persona that I'm trying to step into and to learn. And I am bound to make some mistakes. I'm bound to mess it up. I'm bound to grow and evolve, right? That's what we're all placed on this planet for. But what I'm about to share with you is something that used to occur for me on at least a several times a week basis. It was really bad, and I really had a lot of trouble with it. I struggled a lot. But basically, old habits die hard. That's where we're going with this message today. And on last week, starting on Thursday evening, there was a few days of stress in our household. We've got some stressors going on that, between Jamie and I, and some financial stuff, and the kids have been home for summer and they're bored, and you know how that goes. So it was kind of the perfect storm for some stress and chaos. And I remember Thursday night I was on the phone with my brother, and something was going on with the litter box, and Jamie and Wyatt were getting into it, and I could hear the energy escalating in a non-positive manner, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to hold energy and talk to my brother, but I feel immensely what's going on with the litter box in the other room. I'm an empath, if you don't already know that already, so I really feel other people's stuff, and one of my biggest challenges is to have that a bubble, right? So I can experience everybody else's stuff, be an observer and not absorb that, but I struggle. So I'm absorbing this heated energy from these guys, and it doesn't feel good. It's taking away my peace, right? And so we go to the pool after that, and I go walking and kind of get it out of my system and whatnot. And then Friday comes along, and Jamie gets done with work at noon on Fridays. So I was like, excellent, let's all go bowling as a family. We've got these free bowling things. And the kids didn't want to go. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe Jamie and I go bowling. We'll go on a date. Oh my gosh, this would be great for our relationship. We can get out, do something together. It'll be amazing. So I'm excited about this, right? And I'm waiting for him to get home because we do OMAD, and that's the only day we get to eat together during the week. And so he gets home, and I'm starting to prepare my lunch, and him and Wyatt get into it about something. Wyatt said something that triggered him, and it really pissed Jamie off, and Jamie's, just right on the defensive, right? And I'm not saying that Jamie did anything wrong or anything like that. It just didn't feel good. It was similar to the feeling of Thursday night where I was like, and it shook me. I remember it like you know, those feelings when you're like, you know what day and time you were there. It was like that intense. And so I was like, Jamie, you gotta stop. Like, seriously, this is that. And he's like, okay, I'm really sorry. I'll stop. And he stopped immediately. But something about it just didn't sit with me well. And I just immediately lost my appetite. I was like, you know, I'm done. I didn't want to be near him anymore. I certainly didn't want to go on a bowling date. I was just like, what in the hell is going on around here? And so I sat with it for a few minutes and ultimately was pretty angry at all three of them, my two kids and Jamie, because I thought, for once in my life, I didn't lose my shit. I didn't yell at anybody. I didn't do anything wrong, right? I'm just dealing with two kids fighting. Dad comes home. Dad's not happy about it. He does his dad thing, and I'm like, oh, I just wanted some peace and some love and some joy, and it was not happening that day. So anyway, I eventually was like, you know what, I'm gonna eat and I'm gonna have a good day. If the kids don't want to go bowling and Jamie doesn't want to go bowling, I'm just gonna go bowling by myself, right? Like, I'll go do something I enjoy. So I eat what I put in my carb manager, so that's all well and good, no issues there. But I didn't feel good here. And what happened is I was like, you know what, I'm gonna eat still. So I went and I got some more pork rinds, and then I was like, you know what, some almonds sound good, and I had some almonds, and then I had some wisps, and I had like maybe a couple tablespoons of trail mix. That's totally not keto. I had some peanut butter. I had some cream cheese. I had a few blueberries, a few strawberries. I went on a protein bar tour, which for me, that is, I have several different kinds of protein bars in my home, and I have a little bag, and if I just want a little nibble off each one, just kind of get a flavor of a couple different kinds, I'll do that. Usually I'm not abusing it. Usually it's like, all right, excellent, like little treat, if you will. Oh, well, I abused it that day. And then I decided, you know what? I'm not done being damaging. So I went out to the freezer, and we have several different kinds of Wink ice cream and Rebel ice cream. They're keto, but I was like going on an ice cream tour, having a bite of this and a bite of that. And then I was like, you know what? Hey, I've got some keto treats out here. Brilliant. Yes, let's do that. So I had a bite of a brownie, and I had a bite of oh my gosh, what was it? Goodness, a donut. And I had a chocolate chip cookie and part of a cream cheese cookie. The list goes on and on. Anyway, you get it. Like, I was just like swinging for the fences. I was pissed. I didn't feel good. And this was how I was dealing with it. Not in a not healthy manner whatsoever. I was in the fat bombs. Like, it was crazy. I mean, I ate until I was pretty full. But then at one point I stopped and I was like, get a grip, okay? This isn't helping you. I knew what I was doing the whole time. It wasn't like I went in a coma. It wasn't like I was spacing out. I was pissed off, and I was abusing food, and I was abusing myself, and I was just, the energy was wacky as hell, and I was not ready to deal with it at that point. So I went to an old habit, food, right? To numb and to comfort and to distract and all these things that I know damn well are not serving me. They never did serve me, and they're sure the hell aren't gonna serve me now, but it happens, right? So then I decided, I'm like, you know what? I don't wanna be around my family right now, and this isn't indicative of me. If you know me, I will sacrifice anything to be with my family. It's important. But today, or that day, I was like, you know what? No, I'm done with you guys. I need a break. I am like off the rails, and you guys are not making it any better. So I decided to go bowling on my own. And I burned like maybe 150 calories. I'm like, shit, that is not going to cut it. Like, you really did some damage today, girl. All right, I'm in Temecula. What do I do? Okay, well, I'm going to go to the mall, and I'm going to do a couple laps around the mall and just kind of be out and about, right? I didn't want to go home. I was still trying to separate my energy from my family. So I walk and I walk and I walk until my Apple Watch says 600 calories, which is normally what I burn in a day. And I'm like, well, that's still not going to be good enough, chica. You freaking hit a home run for way overeating. So I was like, oh, okay. All right, well, I got to go home at some point. So it was like 7 o'clock, and I come home. Wyatt's having a fit about something. I'm still just not ready to deal with anybody. And so I hop on my bicycle, and I live in Canyon Hills, so there's hills everywhere. So I was like, okay, we're biking. So I biked until my butt hurt. And then I came home. And then I thought, okay, I'm pretty close to 800 calories burned. Now what do I do? So I hopped on my treadmill and I like doing my walk until I got to 800. And I'm like, wow, all right, it's 10 o'clock at night. Seriously, like at some point, you need to calm the hell down. You need to stop chasing after this, right? So I decided I need to take a bath after all that. One, because I was nasty, I'm sure, and smelly and sweaty. But two, I just needed to chill, right? I just needed to have some more time for myself. So I did. And I had some revelations and realizations while I was sitting in there. And one, I was abusing food and I was abusing myself. And I think what happened is I experienced some trauma, right? I've got traumatic childhood stuff going on. And something in this touched that and it exploded on me, right? Okay. And then what I did is I punished myself with massive amounts of exercise in an effort and out of fear that I was going to be, 9 pounds heavier the next morning because of something stupid I chose to do in the moment. And so I'm trying to just release this and forgive myself and move on and kind of just rearrange this energy and clear it and cleanse it and all this kind of stuff. And then I thought, okay, pick up your carb manager. You need to face this, which I don't normally do. If I'm going to overeat a little bit, it's not really a big deal, but this was a big deal. So the numbers are staggering. I have them right here for you. I ended up eating 2,444 calories, which equated to 63.7 total carbs, 15.6 net carbs, 19.3 grams of fiber, 185.6 grams of fat, and 162.5 grams of protein. So let me tell you, that was double what I was normally eating. Double. So I was like, a new level of guilt and shame came over me at that point. Like, what the fuck did you do? Really? You know better, right? So the gremlins came out to play and I was hammering myself here again, right? I'm thinking, shit, when does this end? So I was really not happy. I was not proud of myself, to say the least. I had some guilt, some shame, some embarrassment. And I knew that I was going to have to fess up to this at some point, right? And I thought, okay, well, use it as a teaching tool, all right? Everybody's got their shit. It just stinks differently, might look different, might float different, whatever, right? But at the end of the day, we all wash our hands and leave the bathroom. So that's what I needed to do. I need to wash my hands and leave the bathroom. So the next morning, I get on the scale fully expecting all hell to break loose, right? And it's going to be shitty and it's going to be stressful and I'm not going to like it. So I get on there and magically I had dropped 1.5 pounds and I'm like, what? And so I get on again because I'm like, this scale is, there's something fucking wrong with it. Clearly, like it's broken because this doesn't make any sense, right? Get on again. Same thing. So I'm like, well, I don't know what the hell to say about this. Would I like to eat 2,400 calories every day? Probably, but I can't sustain that, right? But I was like, wow, I got lucky. How? Why? Right? So I'm on my phone and I'm researching and I'm trying to figure out like how the hell does this happen? This makes no sense to me. But then again, keto doesn't make sense either when you look at the stigma and the dogma and everything that's gone into health and fitness in the last 20, 30 years. And so I thought, okay, turn it around 180 like you've did everything else that went ass backwards on keto and like figure it out from there. So the short and the long answers, I still don't know exactly what the hell happened. I can only imagine it might be some water weight that was released that's been retained. Sometimes when you eat a lot of carbs or a lot of sugar, or not sugar, God, calories, or maybe even excess protein on occasion, right? You don't want to make any of this a constant. Sometimes it shocks your system. So that may have been what happened. I don't know. I wish I knew. But I can tell you that I'm grateful that it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Does that give me permission to go be a jackass again? No, absolutely not. I really need to look at this as why this started in the first place, and it was because I didn't feel good here. And when you don't feel good here, it is hard as hell to make the right choices. And part of what's going on with me lately is decision fatigue. I've made the right decision 99% of the time for almost the last 2 years, and it's inundating sometimes to be like, freaking hey, I got to make the right decision again. Holy shit, this is a lot, right? And so it gets to be heavy. And not that I want to go mess up or do something stupid, but it's just like my mind is overloaded with do the right thing, do the right thing, do the right thing, do the right thing. And obviously it's manifested in a fitter, smaller, healthier mind and body, but it gets tiring. So I did notice before this massive episode, though, that I was having trouble with hitting the 1,250 calories that I was eating per day, which was a 35% deficit, which is pretty aggressive. What I was trying to do is get back down to 133-ish so that I could try maintenance again. The first time I tried, I failed. But what happened is I would eat that much, and I do my OMAD, so I eat it all at once and do another 24-hour fast and then eat lunch again. But I was still hungry, or I thought I was. But what I was going for was kind of those same things that I went to on Friday, right? So it was kind of like the protein bars or the keto ice cream or some nuts and things with a little bit of carbohydrates in them. I hadn't had carbohydrates in like months. I'd been zero total carb for a really long time, and then went to Hawaii and had some carbs, and then came home and kind of weaned back down. So I think that it was a little bit of a shock to the system, and I think that the Uber restriction was causing me to want to go out and eat things that I wanted, right? Because I couldn't have these, right? And for me, I am a brat, and I don't like to be told no, even by myself. And I think that I was having like little outbursts, if you will. So I think that it was time for a little bit of a change. And what really solidified that for me is getting on the scale on Sunday and doing all my girth measurements and my body fat percentage and all this. And I ended up losing 3 pounds last week on the whole, which was shocking because I don't know if I complied to my carb manager one time. But what was horrifying was the fact that 2 out of those 3 pounds were lean tissue. And that's not okay for me, right? If my goal is to lose fat mass and build lean mass, well, I can't be losing my muscle. So I sat with that and I was like, okay, why am I losing my muscle? Okay, well, it's probably because you're not eating enough, girl. Okay, ooh, scary, right? If I eat more, I'm gonna gain weight. Well, not if you're training and not if you're really getting after it with your exercising, which I am. I train every single day. So I got brave and I switched up my macros, and now I'm doing a 25% deficit this week, and I'm adding in 5 net carbs, right? So let's expand on that. So a couple weeks ago when I came home from Hawaii, I thought, okay, it's time for me to go into maintenance. I don't want to get my body fat too low right now. I still want to be healthy and look good. My body is my business and my marketing, so I have to make sure that I portray a healthy image. So I just totally lost my train of thought. Oh, sorry. I went full on keto, right? So I went up to 20 net carbs a day. One, my guts were pissed off. Oh my gosh, I was having stomach aches. I was in the bathroom or not in the bathroom to the extreme. It didn't feel good. I was like, what is going on? And I was gaining 2 pounds a day for 4 days. And I'm like, okay, pumping the brakes. I don't even care if it's been a week. This is clearly not working out. So that's when I went back to zero total carbs, and now I've weaned myself down to where I can try maintenance again. Yay, right? Yeah, that should be easy. No, it's just a different level that I have to figure out now, right? I know how to cut fat like crazy. Slowing the fat loss and building muscle, I'm a student now, right? But that makes me a better coach for you, because when you're ready for maintenance, I have done all the mistakes and I know how to get you further faster, and you don't have to make those mistakes like I did. So what I can tell you though is that now that I'm having 5 carbs a day, no, that's not a lot, but when you're used to having a big fat 0 it's amazing. I had sour cream on my little egg thin burritos, and hell, I had some avocado salsa. Oh, I thought I died and went to heaven. Jamie's like, are you okay? I'm like, no, this is awesome. Because this girl loves to eat, and it was so amazing to have those things and have a little bit of keto yogurt and have a little bit of almonds or whatever it was that I wanted. I was like, oh, heaven, yay, yay. So one, it just felt good to eat more calories. I think it's about 1450, so it's only about 200 more, but my God, that's amazing when you're eating this one meal a day thing, and then you're getting a little bit of carbohydrates. Woo! So my compliance levels have shot way up because I can have a little bit of a bite of this, and I can have a little bit of a bite of that, and it's not a big deal. It's not going to hinder my progress or anything. It's actually built into my carb manager already. I know I can have whatever it is that I'm craving within limits, right? I'm not 5 carbs, but eventually I'll keep adding 5 carbs until I get up to 20, and by then hopefully my body will gradually have shifted into, okay, this is how you deal with carbs again, no shock, we're all good, we're not going to be putting on crazy amounts of weight, which I think, though, of those 2 pounds per day I was putting on, a lot of it was water weight, because carbs, one of their major roles is to retain water. So as soon as you start adding carbs into your system, boom, water weight central. Okay, now it's not always that way, but more often than not, that's what you're going to experience. So that restriction and feeling desperate is gone. I feel full. I feel satiated, not only in like fullness of my stomach, but in my mind. I'm like, yes, I got a goodie, or yes, I got to have some cream cheese or some peanut butter or whatever it was. Like this feels good to me, feels excellent. And in that, I feel like I have the freedom to enjoy some things without going overboard. And the reward has been, I've been losing about a half a pound a day. And I'm like, this is nuts. I mean, I know it. I have training in it. I've got my degree in kinesiology, the minor in nutrition, the personal training cert. I've been so many different additional certifications that I went through. So I get it. Like, when you're pumping iron and you're trying to put on lean mass, you have to eat more. You just have to. It was hard for me to accept that. It was hard for me to step into that. It was scary. I'll just be honest. I'm like, shit, if I eat more, then, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to take any steps backwards. I work my ass off every day pumping the iron and doing crazy exercises. Ask my personal training clients. They're like, what the hell is wrong with you? I don't know, but the more it sucks, the more it works, and, you know, the bigger these muscles are getting. So, well, let's just roll with me here. And I didn't want to do all that for nothing, because it's been hard to get up every damn day and go downstairs to the formal gym and pump iron, or go downstairs and go into the formal living room with all the free weights and the battle ropes and everything else and just freaking beat myself. It's tough, right? So I didn't want to give an inch back, but I'm like, okay, I have to try something new. And it's been working, and I'm happy. So I think it's only going to get better and better. So again, I share this with you because I just want to show you that I'm human. I make mistakes. I am not perfect. I still have shit to work through, and I can be thankful that this is the first time a crazy episode like that has happened, and I don't even know when. I couldn't tell you the last time that I went ape shit and did something like that because of an emotional response. So that's a win, and that's what I'm going to focus on. And I'm going to be in gratitude and appreciation that I've made it this far. And what this is a learning lesson for me. And that helps me to be able to understand all of you guys better in different aspects, right? You don't have to be going through the same thing I'm going through, but it's a connection, okay? And I just want you to know that I respect you. I respect myself, right? Even after all this nonsense. But that I'm in this for the long haul, right? And to be in it for the long haul, sometimes you trip, sometimes you fall down. It's about how quickly you get back up. I was back up the next day, okay? So you really have to be in tune with yourself, and that is in mind, body, and spirit, and listening to your gut, listening to your intuition when it fires, listening to your body when it's asking you to exercise or to stop exercise or to eat something or not eat something. You really have to be present and understand yourself, respect yourself to the point where you know you're on the right track, okay? So I heard some statistics this week that scared the living shit out of me. And I was like, okay, because really for me, like I said, I think the easy part of this was the fat loss, and the harder part is maintaining it. And what I learned about these statistics supports my feelings on this. And I was having a conversation with Jamie, and I was like, I love it when my clients don't need me anymore. And you might be like, what the hell's wrong with her? Doesn't she do this for a living? Well, yeah, sure. But my job isn't to sit and collect a paycheck from me. My job is to inspire you, to educate you, to light a fire under your ass if that's what you need, to love you even when you don't love yourself, to respect you when you don't love yourself. Like, really give you all the tools, knowledge, experience to succeed. And so when you go off on your own and you're able to do this, that is success. That is what I want for you. So with that being said, I was like, well, what do I do then, right? When, I mean, at some point, isn't the table going to turn, or the ratio is going to stop, right? And now I'm like, okay, I've helped X people, and more of them are in maintenance than not. Well, then what? Well, this is where it comes in. So the statistics that I got, and this was from a Keto Gains presentation down in San Diego at the Low Carb USA conference. So I'll have to double check these, but this is just what I heard from them, is after 1 year of losing weight, right? Like I think it was like 50 pounds or more, something like that. 40% of people regain it. 40%, okay? So that's 4 out of 10. After 2 years, I believe what they stated was 70% put that weight back on. So now we're looking at 7 out of 10 people in a 2-year period put that weight back on. And what was scary as shit is the 3rd-year statistic, which was 97% of people who took off that weight put it back on and then some. So that means 3 people out of 100 actually are able to sustain this for the long haul. They're able to change for good. And what the difference is between the people that can hack it and keep it off and those who succumb to the slippery slope is all right here and here. Okay? Very important. Again, it's here and here. So does that mean that those 3 out of 100 people after the 3rd year never have a mess up? They never eat anything they're not supposed to? They never have a day where they just sit on the couch instead of go train like they normally would? They're human. They're going to have some kind of bobble. They're going to have something come up, right? So my goal is to be one of those 3 in 100 people in 3 years. And to do that, I've got to stay sharp. I have to use instances like last Friday to my advantage, right? So yes, it happened. Yes, it sucks. But am I still a good person? Am I still on the right track? Am I still willing to commit and to excel and to keep growing and learning? Absolutely, right? So I've done the work through that. I understand it. Next time I'll be able to pick up on those cues and know exactly what it is and find some other coping mechanism to use. There's a million other things I could have done. Hell, I could have just left and went bowling right then and there. I could have went to the mall. I could have started lifting. That's a stress reliever. I could have went for that bike ride. I could have went up and took a bubble bath. I could have went up to my room and read a book. I could have just said, you know, you guys are just too much for me. Holy smokes. You guys need to go find something else to do. Send them out of the house for a while. They can go to the pool, or they can go to the mall, or they can do whatever, right? So there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is purpose. There is lessons and gifts and values behind all of this if we will allow it. And so that's what I've chosen to do. I've chosen to open up to you and let you know of my epic fuck up on Friday, and to let you know that all is not lost. I'm just fine. I'm actually weighing much less than I did then. It was an opportunity for me to learn a little bit more, to grow a little bit more. The universe says, hey, you know, you're not quite over that quite yet. Let's get some work around it right now, okay? So with that being said, I really appreciate you hanging in. I know this was a long video, but I really felt like it was important information, not only for me, but for you too. And so you can get to know me a little bit better and more, and then just show you I'm a real person just like you.